everyone, so I thought today I'd film more of a kind of vlog type video because I got a request from, hold on, I did write down your YouTube user, from Hannah Callow, I think that's how you pronounce your YouTube name. I got a request to do kind of my university experience video, and actually I think in the past I've had quite a few people ask me to do that, so I thought today I would just quickly record what I'm hoping is going to be a fairly short video of just kind of my experience of university when I was there and kind of why I left and everything like that. So I've broken it up into little subcategories. So I'm going to talk about accommodation, kind of the more academic side of it, so what my lectures and seminars and stuff were like, the social life, freshers, and then the reasoning why I left. So I guess before I start on any of that, I have to mention that I went to Portsmouth University. I was really happy with that choice. That was my first choice, and I was living in halls of residence at the uni. So for accommodation I was in a flat with 4 other people, I think, so it was 5 of us in total. So we all had our own rooms, including an ensuite bathroom, and then we had a communal kitchen. Accommodation wise, like, my room was really nice and it was a really good size. It was actually a lot bigger than what I thought it would be. It was pretty huge actually. The bathroom was pretty average. It was a sink, a mirror, a toilet, and then it kind of doubled up as a wet room. So it wasn't like a separate shower, which was kind of annoying actually, because that means every time you use the shower, everything you kept in your bathroom would get absolutely soaked. But I mean, it just saves space, I guess. So that's what my bathroom was like. I possibly have a picture that I took of my room when I just moved in, so if I still have that I'll insert it so you can kind of see the size of the room. But apart from that, it was fairly basic. It came with a wardrobe, obviously the bathroom, it had a single bed and a nightstand, and then a desk and some shelves, and that was it. If you want, I can do a separate video on kind of what to take when you go to university, because I know that might be quite a useful video for you guys, but I'm not going to go into it in this video just because it'll take a lot of time. But if you want me to do a kind of uni essentials video, I will. But yeah, that was the accommodation. In terms of living with other people, because obviously I'd never done that before, I'd never lived with anyone outside my family. So it's quite strange. The thing about uni is that everyone's really friendly. So it's kind of a weird atmosphere. It's awkward and uncomfortable, yet it's also really friendly. I personally felt very lonely when I was at university. All the people in my flat were really, really nice. I really have nothing bad to say about them at all. They were lovely people. It's just a bit of a shame that I didn't necessarily click with anyone in my flat. They were all really nice and we all got on really, really well, but I didn't have that really strong kind of instant friendship or bond with any of them. I didn't have that much in common with any of them as well, which was a little bit harder. That was really hard for me just because I've always, throughout my whole life, had at least one really close friend that I've kind of instantly clicked with. So I kind of almost expected that when I went to uni. I just kind of thought I'd arrive and then just meet someone and instantly kind of become best friends with them. That wasn't too much of a big deal because obviously I was fully aware that you would meet so many other people just on your kind of days out or your lectures or whatever, so that was fine. In terms of the flat, I had a mixed flat, so we had 2 boys, myself, and then 2 other girls. One of the girls was a little bit more she kept to herself a lot. I actually probably only saw her about 3 times for the entire time that I was at uni. She was actually in the room next to me, but she was just never in our flat, so we never really got to see her that much. But I didn't really have any problems with living in halls. You know, I didn't really have any problems with people being too noisy or anything like that. I did have one incident with a flatmate deciding to hoover their room at like 1 in the morning, which was the kind of only issue I had when I was there. So apart from that, I mean, accommodation was absolutely fine. My flat, actually, we did really well in terms of keeping it clean. We were all very good at kind of doing the washing up pretty much straight after we used something. I'm not sure how the flat is looking now. Bearing in mind they've been there a lot longer now, so maybe the flat is looking a little bit worse for wear, but when I was there it was absolutely fine and not a problem. And so in terms of the academic side, this kind of links into my freshers category as well, because during our freshers fortnight we also had lectures and seminars within that, so it was kind of annoying because obviously Freshers week or Freshers fortnight or whatever is obviously the time when you kind of go crazy and you just go out all the time and try and meet new people and kind of set yourself a kind of, you try and establish your part in the uni, but obviously a lot of the time you had to wake up really early the next morning and go to a lecture or whatever, so that kind of really pissed me off because Freshers is the time you're meant to be kind of carefree. I did attend lectures and seminars. I can't really give too much information because obviously they're all different depending on your course. I really was not impressed with my course in terms of lectures and seminars, not because like the teaching was bad or anything, just because I instantly knew that I was learning something I was not interested in, and I kind of freaked out. People that I'd met were kind of talking about their lectures and courses and saying how like great they thought they were, and I was just kind of quietly sitting there thinking, I hate my course, I don't know what I'm doing, and I didn't really have anyone to speak to in terms of that because I pretty much seemed to be the only person that was feeling that. So if you're wondering, I was doing marketing with psychology. In my head that sounded like a really great course for me, but it was just way more hugely business based than I thought it would be. I don't know if that sounds silly, but I didn't expect it to be as hugely based on business as it was. So yeah, that's really all I can say about the academic side. Lectures, obviously, in big lecture halls, it's pretty much you just sit there for an hour, maybe two, and listen to a lecturer speak. They probably have a presentation and you just make your own notes. Whereas a seminar is a lot more like kind of a college setting or a school setting, like a classroom, and it's more kind of interactive work. And moving on to the social life aspect, which I know to most people is the kind of most important part of going to a uni. Pretty much all universities have very similar social life. They'll have specific clubs that they promote with and they put nights on with. So you don't really need to worry about the nightlife not being great. In Portsmouth, I found the nightlife to be absolutely fine. All the clubs were very local, they were in walking distance, which was great. And there is just always something going on, so pretty much any night of the week you can just if you feel like going out, you can, which is really nice. And that's definitely something I miss about going to university. I really liked how you always had the option to go out and do something. Even if you're not kind of a huge partier or really into going out and drinking or anything, because obviously a lot of the social life is based around clubs and bars and pubs. There's always different events going on, so there's pretty much something for everyone. So from that, I guess I'll go into my Freshers fortnight. I think my expectations of Freshers was just a lot higher than what it could be. Something that I never really factored into Freshers was actually your nights out are with people that you don't actually really know yet. I mean, the first night you go out, obviously you're with your flatmates, but you guys have literally spent probably the last 8 hours together. So it is a little bit kind of awkward. But as I said, everyone's so kind of up and willing to make friends that, conversation soon flows, especially when there's some drink involved. I mean, everyone starts getting more comfortable and it does really help the friendships to form. One thing that I did kind of not worry about, but I was aware of, was that you obviously, especially when there's drink involved, you don't want to go, well, I didn't want to go too crazy. I didn't want to kind of jeopardise what my flatmates thought of me necessarily, like you don't want to embarrass yourself or anything like that because it can sometimes give people the wrong impression. But apart from that, Freshers is really just a time when everyone goes crazy, so you don't have to worry too much. I mean, there's always going to be people that are worse than you. So yeah, didn't get to enjoy Freshers completely simply because we had lectures and seminars throughout the weeks of our Freshers. So quite a few of the nights we actually just stayed in because there was no point going out because we couldn't stay out late anyway because we had lectures really early the next day. But I'm not sure if all universities do that. So finally, I'm just going to touch on the reasons why I ended up leaving uni. The main reason I left was the layout of Portsmouth is quite isolated, like your flats are quite far apart from each other and there's only 5 of you in each flat in halls of residence, so meeting other people in other flats is tricky sometimes. And I just found that although I'd met some really nice people in my lectures, I hadn't met anyone that I really clicked with, and I just know instantly if I click with someone or not, and I was just feeling very kind of low and down. I hadn't met anyone like that. And then on top of that, I really was miserable with the course I was taking. It was really not something that I was interested in, and I couldn't believe I was going to have to pay £8,500 for it. And it was getting to the time where we had to start paying our first payment, and I just was like, no, I'm not happy here. And I just had that gut feeling that I shouldn't be there. And then also on top of that, I sometimes experience kind of not anxiety, but almost like anxiety attacks when I'm around too much alcohol, which I can explain in a later video. But I just often would wake up in my halls and feel very, very anxious and uneasy and start to panic, and I had no one to talk to about it, and I was pretty much on my own, and I was feeling that more and more often the more I started to hate my course and the more I started to feel lonely. And so I just thought, I have to go home. And it got to the point where I was going home every weekend. Like, as soon as I finished my lecture on Friday, I'd get on a train and go home. And that's not really the point of uni. You should enjoy it enough that you want to stay there as much as you can. So I just kind of took that on board and thought, okay, I'm obviously not happy here, I should come home. So that's the reason why I left. But I have applied to a local uni to go possibly next year, so I'd be able to live at home and just go there for literally the courses, so almost like a college type thing, which I think may suit me a little better, but I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to do that yet, just because I haven't decided if I'm going to go down the makeup route and study makeup at a separate college, or try and go back to university. Obviously go to a local one and then live at home. But that is the reason why I left. So it wasn't anything to do with kind of people being horrible or, you know, anything, having a traumatic experience. It just wasn't for me, and I'm not sure if that was just because it was that particular uni or what. I really hope that hasn't put you guys off going to uni, because honestly I'm pretty much the only person that had that experience. All of my other friends absolutely love their unis and they're so happy to be there. So I think I was just a bit unlucky, but that's really just my experience. That's why I ended up leaving, and that's why I'm here at home now. But yeah, I hope that kind of helps you out or answers some of your questions as to why I'm not there anymore. And I hope I didn't ramble too much. I know that I often do, but yeah, I hope that helped you out, and I shall see you guys soon.